Deep observation is all about observing two essential realities. The first reality is to observe the rules and procedures that govern success in this environment. It is all about this is how we do things here. It is simply the operations manual. Some of these rules will be directly communicated to you. Generally, they are very superficial and largely a matter of common sense. You just have to pay attention and observe them. There are others which are even more interesting. They are unstated and never spoken about. How will you learn these unstated rules? Because they are very important and form the part of underlying work culture. It also includes the working style and the values which are considered very important. How do we learn such rules? These rules can be learned by observing two kinds of people. The ones who have a golden touch. These are the people who have made their way up in the hierarchy, and just by observing them you will be able to learn the golden rules. On the other hand, you will also need to observe people who are awkward, and these are the people who are generally reprimanded for making mistakes and sometimes even fired. They serve as examples, as negative tripwires. They will teach you doing things this way you will suffer. And most often these rules are a reflection of the character of the man or women on the top. Somehow the attitude and the working style of the person on the top percolates into the system and has a major influence on the functioning of the system. The second important reality that you need to observe is the power relationships and the power dynamics that exist within the group. Who has got the real control? Through whom do all communications flow? Who is on the rise and who is on the decline? Some of the political and procedural rules are most of the times dysfunctional and they are counterproductive. When this happens, your job is not to moralize, or you don't have to try to correct and be oversmart there. You don't even have to complain about it. Your job is to merely understand them and have a complete lay of the land. So you're not going to think, it is not good that it's happening. You don't have to become rebellious and you don't have to rectify that, because that is what has made the entire system work, and you cannot bring a change overnight. You just have to say what is the role that it is playing in the system. So you just have to have a complete lay of the land by understanding it. You have to understand in the apprenticeship phase, during the observation phase, that no task is menial. Every task given to you will be an opportunity to understand the work world. You should also know that no detail is trivial. The knowledge of people is going to be very, very important. Every detail, everything that you see and hear is going to be a sign for you to encode. What happens is, over time, you will understand the reality that eluded you at the first. Once you have gathered enough information of the rules and the power dynamics that is there in the new environment, what happens is you will be able to understand and analyze why they exist and how do they relate to the larger trends in the field. What is their role in it? How are they interconnected? All this will be a part of your knowledge, and you will be able to observe them and also analyze them. You will actually be moving slowly and gradually from observation to analysis, and when this happens, you will also be strengthening and sharpening your reasoning skills. But it should not happen immediately. You have to give enough time for it to develop. At least you have to give several months of careful observation and attention that has to take place. If you do it immediately, it's not going to work for you. Why? Because it is very natural for people to become judgmental and pass opinions about the system. You are a newcomer. You can only see the entire system from the surface. You have not gone into the depth of the surface and looking into the core of the system as such. So you tend to have unrealistic knowledge about it. So instead of using your intelligence to judge, use your intelligence to understand the reality and leverage it. Once you have understood and analyzed the reality, leverage to excel in the system. Once you analyze and then you realize that whatever you made a judgment in the initial days, nothing matched. Your judgment was useless and it is complete waste of time. Believe me. So it is very important to understand the system. You will be understanding the system by deep observation. Once you have understood, start analyzing after several months, and then this reality, once you understand, will be your greatest and powerful tool. Know that understanding the reality and submitting to the reality is your master key to unlock success. Objective thinking, understanding the reality is very important for success during your apprenticeship phase. So the first step of deep observation becomes very, very important.